I know how IT feels, to be let down by someone you care about, that gut-wrenching sting of disappointment. The canceled plans, the broken promises, or even the silence when you needed them most. IT hurts, IT feels unfair. And let's be honest, it can make you question yourself. But here's the truth, those moments, as painful as they are, hold a hidden power. How you choose to respond can either deepen the wound or transform the entire situation. Today I want to talk about how you can take those tough moments and turn them into opportunities for growth, not just for yourself, but for the relationship. And nitrogen monoxide, this isn't about pretending IT didn't hurt or bottling up your emotions. It's about embracing the strength that comes with calm, acceptance, showing grace when it's least expected, and setting a new standard for how you handle life's challenges. Together, we'll uncover how to respond in a way that leaves you feeling empowered and leaves her wondering how you became so unshakable. Let's get started. No, one, change the way you see IT. Let's be honest, IT stings when someone you care about doesn't meet your expectations. Maybe she forgot something important, let you down in a moment you needed her most, or pulled away without explanation. That kind of disappointment can trigger an emotional storm, frustration, resentment, even self-doubt. But what if I told you that how you respond in these moments has the power to transform not just the situation, but you as a person? Here's the mindset shift you need to make. What if her actions aren't about you at all? Think about IT. What if her disappointment, her pulling back, or her failure to follow through stems from her own struggles, fears, or confusion? What if her choices are more about the battles she's fighting inside than about your value in her life? The Stoics, wise philosophers who have guided countless generations, taught us this profound truth. It's not the events themselves that disturb us, but how we interpret them. Epictetus said it best, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to IT that matters. So when she lets you down, remind yourself that her actions are part of her story, not a reflection of your worth. This perspective frees you from the chains of unnecessary pain and allows you to step back with clarity. Imagine you planned a special evening for the two of you, and she cancels last minute, offering a vague excuse. It's tempting to take IT personally, to think she doesn't care, or worse, that you're not enough. But pause for a moment. What if she's overwhelmed with work? What if she's dealing with something she hasn't yet figured out how to share? Instead of reacting with anger or hurt, you could respond with calm acceptance. I understand. Let me know when you're ready to talk or reschedule. That response is powerful, not because IT's passive, but because it's rooted in self-respect and emotional stability. You're showing her that you're not going to spiral into negativity or let her actions define your value. This isn't about excusing bad behavior. It's about staying grounded in your own sense of peace. And here's the surprising part. When you meet her shortcomings with acceptance instead of resistance, you shock her. Why? Because most people expect anger, guilt trips, or withdrawal. They're rarely met with composure and understanding. Your ability to rise above the situation, not in a way that dismisses your own feelings, but in a way that prioritizes your inner calm, sets you apart. This doesn't mean you don't hold her accountable or communicate your needs. IT simply means you're approaching the situation from a place of strength, not insecurity. You're saying, I'm here to understand, not to judge, but I also know my worth and won't let this define me. By changing the way you see IT, you take back control of your narrative. You become the author of your response instead of the victim of her actions. And in doing so, you not only protect your peace, but you also show her the strength of your character, a strength that commands respect and admiration. No to acceptance is strength, not weakness. Picture this: she's just let you down. Maybe it's a rejection, a cancellation, or a moment where her actions didn't meet your expectations. She braces herself, expecting the usual frustration, an argument, or an attempt to make her see things your way. But instead, you respond with something she never anticipated. Acceptance, calm, steady, unwavering acceptance. This isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending not to care. No, it's about mastering your emotions and showing that you're bigger than the situation. Most people think acceptance means surrendering or being passive, but let me tell you something. Acceptance is one of the greatest displays of inner strength. When you accept what has happened without resistance, you're showing that your peace of mind is not up for negotiation. Imagine a scenario: she cancels plans at the last minute, expecting you to be upset or to press for an explanation. Instead, you say, "I understand nitrogen monoxide worries. Take care of what you need to." That kind of response is rare, and it carries weight. It's not about being indifferent. It's about demonstrating self-control and respect, both for her and for yourself. Acceptance isn't weakness. It's a form of resilience. It says, "I'm not defined by what happens to me, but by how I choose to respond." When you show that you're not shaken by external events, you exude confidence, calm, and self-respect. This doesn't just make her take a second look. It inspires a kind of respect and curiosity that most people never earn. Think about it. How often do people argue, beg, or try to manipulate situations to get their way? It's common and it's exhausting. But the person who can step back, take things as they are, and move forward with dignity, that's someone unforgettable. The truth is, when you respond with acceptance, you're not only preserving your own peace, but also creating space for her to reflect. She may even start to question her own behavior. Why? Because when you don't react emotionally, you force her to think deeply about what just happened. Your composure becomes a mirror, and in that moment she sees something she didn't expect. A man who isn't controlled by circumstance. Seneca wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is the essence of Stoicism, choosing your response instead of letting the situation choose it for you. By accepting the moment for what it is, you maintain control over yourself, and that kind of power is magnetic. So next time she lets you down, surprise her. Instead of reacting with frustration or disappointment, respond with grace. Accept what has happened, not because it's easy, but because it's the stronger, wiser path. She be shocked. And more importantly, you'll walk away with your self-respect intact. That's the kind of energy that draws people in and sets you apart from the crowd. Now let's take a moment to pause and reflect on this idea of acceptance as strength. Think about how many times we've allowed our emotions to dictate our responses. How often we've reacted out of frustration or tried to force a situation to align with our expectations. Imagine the freedom that comes from mastering your emotions instead of being mastered by them. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. How do you practice acceptance in moments of disappointment? Or if this is a new concept for you, what part of it resonates most? Share your insights in the comments below. If you're not sure what to say, just type this: "I choose acceptance over reaction." Your reflection could inspire someone else to see things differently, and who knows, you might gain some new perspectives yourself. No. 3. Respond with quiet strength. When When someone lets you down, your immediate reaction might be frustration or the urge to confront them. But the real strength lies in doing the opposite. Don't explain yourself, don't argue your side. Don't chase closure instead. Let your calm, steady demeanor do the talking for you. This isn't about weakness or apathy. It's about self-respect and clarity. The Stoics have a word for this kind of approach: apatheia. Now, this doesn't mean being emotionless or detached from life, quite the contrary. It's about freedom from being controlled by your emotions. It's about choosing how you respond, rather than being led by impulsive reactions. When you practice apatheia, you're not shutting down your emotions. You're mastering them. You become the eye of the storm. Calm, steady, and unshaken. Even when everything around you is in turmoil. Consider this: she says something hurtful or disappoints you in some way. Maybe she cancels plans at the last minute or doesn't show up for you in a moment when you needed her. The typical reaction would be to voice your disappointment, perhaps with a sharp comment or a defensive stance. But instead, you simply not take a deep breath and say, "I understand," not sarcastically, not with bitterness, just a genuine acceptance of the moment for what it is. What happens next is fascinating. Your calm, measured response often has a way of shocking people. Why? Because it's rare. Most people are used to defensiveness, arguments, or at the very least a visible reaction. But when you respond with quiet strength, you show her and yourself that you are not easily shaken. You are not controlled by the ups and downs of the moment. This kind of response leaves a mark. It's not about playing games or trying to appear aloof. It's about demonstrating that you value your peace more than fleeting validation. This level of self-mastery is magnetic. It creates space for reflection, not just for her but for you as well. She may wonder why you didn't react the way she expected. She may even find herself drawn to your composed energy, realizing that it's a rare quality in a world that thrives on impulsive reactions. Think of it as planting a seed. You might not see the results immediately, but over time your response, your acceptance, will resonate in a way that arguing never could. And while she's reflecting, you're moving forward unburdened, free to focus on what truly matters. Remember, you don't need to control the situation. You only need to control yourself. Accept what happens with grace. Respond with quiet strength. That's Stoic wisdom in action. And it's a path to real confidence and peace. No, for let go and level up. Clinging to what could have been or what should have been is like dragging a heavy anchor through life. You might think holding on gives you control, but all it does is weigh you down. Acceptance, on the other hand, sets you free when she lets you down. Don't fight against it, and don't try to force what isn't working. Instead, lean into it with a quiet, unshakable strength. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus put it perfectly: make the best use of what is in your power. So let me ask you, what is in your power? Not her choices, not her actions, and certainly not her feelings. What you can control is your response, your energy, and how you move forward. Let's say she promised to show up for you emotionally, physically, or in some other way. But she didn't. You could stew in frustration, replaying the moment in your head over and over. Or you could pause and ask yourself, what does this teach me about her, about myself, about what I truly deserve? That pause, that choice to accept instead of resist, is where your growth begins. Here's a practical example. Say she canceled plans last minute again. Instead of venting or trying to make her feel guilty, you calmly accept that. You say something like, "I understand nitrogen monoxide worries." Then you redirect your energy. Maybe you use that time to hit the gym, read a book you've been meaning to dive into, or work on a skill that excites you. You're not doing this to make her feel bad or to show her what she's missing. You're doing it because your time is valuable and your life is bigger than this moment. Now here's the twist. When you focus on leveling up, something shifts not just in you, but in how others perceive you. When she sees you moving forward without bitterness or resentment, it's going to hit her in a way she didn't expect. People are drawn to those who value themselves. Your calm acceptance, your ability to let go and thrive, speaks volumes about your self-respect and confidence. Here's the truth. You don't need her validation, and you never did. The disappointment you feel isn't about her. It's about the expectations you placed on her. But when you let go of those expectations, you open yourself up to something far greater. You start to see your worth clearly, and you realize that her actions don't define you. By embracing acceptance and focusing on your own growth, you're not just letting her down easy. You're showing her and yourself that your peace and progress are untouchable. And that, my friend, is the ultimate power move. So when she lets you down, don't fight, don't cling. Let go, level up, and let the world see the strength of a man who refuses to be held back. Now take a moment to pause and really let that sink in. What expectations have you been holding on to that nitrogen monoxide longer serve you? How can you redirect your energy to become the best version of yourself? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment and share what this makes you reflect on. Or if you're ready to affirm your growth, just type "I'm letting go and leveling up" your story. Your strength and your journey matter. Don't hesitate to share it. Let's build a community of resilience together. No, 5. Make the pain work for you. Pain isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. Think about the most challenging moments in your life. They're the ones that taught you the biggest lessons. Write the moments that made you stop. Reflect and grow when someone disappoints you. It's not the end of the road. It's a fork in it. You can either take the path of bitterness and blame, or you can take the path of strength and self-respect. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, put it simply: what stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacle isn't there to block your path. It's there to become your path. Picture the scenario: she said she'd be there for you, but when it mattered, she wasn't. Or maybe she promised she'd call, but your phone stayed silent. The disappointment is real, and so is the hurt. But here's where the magic happens. You don't respond how she expects. Instead of anger, you choose calm. Instead of arguing or blaming, you accept what's happened, not because it's okay, but because you refuse to let it control your peace. When you choose acceptance, you send a powerful message, not just to her but to yourself. You're saying, "I won't let this define me. My worth doesn't hinge on someone else's actions." That's where true strength lies. And let's be honest, most people don't expect this kind of response. When she lets you down, she might be bracing for an argument, a guilt trip, or even the silent treatment. But when you respond with composure and grace, it stops her in her tracks. It makes her wonder why you're so unshaken, why you're not reacting like everyone else. Now don't misunderstand me. Acceptance isn't the same as weakness. It doesn't mean you ignore the pain or tolerate bad behavior, feel the hurt. But don't let it consume you. Instead, use it. Pain is a tool if you let it be. Let it show you what you want, what you'll tolerate, and what you won't. Maybe you realize you deserve better communication, more effort, or simply more respect. Whatever it is, the pain is pointing you toward clarity. Think of it like this: disappointment is a mirror. It reflects what you value and what needs to change. The Stoics taught us that we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. You didn't create the disappointment, but you get to decide whether it breaks you or shapes you. Every setback is an opportunity to build resilience and redefine your boundaries. Here's the beauty of this approach. By responding with calm acceptance, you don't just preserve your peace, you also set a powerful example. People are drawn to those who don't let circumstances shake them. Your composure sends a message that you value yourself too much to be dragged into chaos. Over time, this kind of strength and self-respect can shift the dynamic. It can make her rethink her actions and recognize your value. Remember this. You have a choice: let the disappointment drown you, or use it as a stepping stone to grow stronger. Shock her not with resentment, but with grace. Show her that you're not just another person reacting on impulse. You're someone who chooses to rise above. That's Stoicism in action. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being uncheckable. And when you master this, you're not just handling disappointment. You're transforming it into a tool for growth. No. 6. Confidence in walking away. Here's a hard truth, my friend. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do when someone lets you down is simply to accept it, and if needed, walk away. Not out of anger, not to punish, but because you recognize that your peace of mind is worth more than chasing validation from anyone. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poorer." Think about that for a moment. Craving her validation, her attention, or an explanation makes you dependent on her actions for your happiness. But stepping back, choosing to accept what's happened without chasing, without demanding, shows incredible inner strength. It tells her, and more importantly, it tells yourself, that your self-worth isn't tied to anyone else's approval. Imagine the scenario: she lets you down. Maybe she cancels on you for the 3rd time, or says something dismissive. Instead of calling her out or seeking an apology, you respond calmly. You say, "I understand, and you mean it." You let her know that you're not upset, that you're fine with her decision, and then you let it be. No over-explaining, nitrogen monoxide, guilt-tripping, just a calm acceptance. That's when the real shift happens. She'd be shocked, because most people react with frustration or emotional outbursts, but you're unbothered, and that kind of composure, that level of confidence, is unforgettable. This isn't about pretending not to care. It's about genuinely understanding that her actions don't define your value. Walking away, if it comes to that, doesn't mean giving up. It means prioritizing your peace over trying to fix something that may not be yours to fix. It's a quiet, confident way of saying, "I'm enough with or without this." So the next time someone lets you down, channel that inner Stoic: accept it. Respond with grace, not resentment. And if the situation requires you to leave, do so with your head high and your peace intact. That's strength, that's power. And trust me, she won't forget it. Now imagine how liberating it would feel to release the need for external validation and to stand firm in your worth. What would it take for you to respond with such calm confidence in your own life? Leave a comment sharing your thoughts on this perspective, or simply type "my peace is my power" in the comments. to affirm your commitment to valuing yourself. Above all, your reflections could inspire someone else on this journey of self, respect, and inner strength. No, 7. Be her calm in the storm. Think about it. In a world where so many people meet challenges with defensiveness or aggression, being the person who remains calm and composed is rare. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. They believed that, while you can't control what happens around you, you can control how you respond. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once said you have power over your mind. Not outside events realize this, and you will find strength when she lets you down. Let that strength shine. Imagine this scenario. She forgets an important date or doesn't text back when she said she would. Instead of bombarding her with messages or confronting her harshly, you simply let it go, not in a passive or dismissive way, but with a quiet confidence that shows you're unshaken. When she eventually apologizes or explains, you respond with understanding. It's okay, life happens. I hope everything's all right on your end. That simple response, calm, steady, and unbothered, carries more power than a dozen angry words ever could. Why does this matter so much? Because when you accept her mistakes or missteps without letting them rock your core, you're not just showing kindness, you're showing strength. It's easy to be calm when everything's perfect, but it's during the storms that your character is truly tested. The Stoics often likened a wise person to a lighthouse, standing tall and steady, while waves crash and winds howl. It's not that the lighthouse doesn't notice the storm. It's that it doesn't let the storm dictate its purpose. Be that lighthouse when you respond with grace and calm. She see that you're different, that you're someone she can rely on, someone who doesn't crumble under pressure or lash out in frustration. Your calmness will intrigue her, maybe even inspire her. She might start wondering, what is it about him that makes him so unshakable? How can he be so steady when others would fall apart? And let's be honest, isn't that the kind of impression you want to leave? Not just someone who's there during the sunny days, but someone who remains a source of peace and strength when the skies turn gray. Over time, this approach doesn't just strengthen your relationship, it strengthens you. Each time you choose calm over chaos, you're practicing the Stoic principle of controlling your inner world. You're building resilience not just for her, but for yourself, so the next time she lets you down, don't see it as an insult or a personal attack. See it as a chance to be her calm in the storm. Shock her with your acceptance, your steadiness, your grace. Not only will she see you differently, but you'll start seeing yourself differently too. That's the kind of strength that lasts, and the kind of impression she never forget. No. 8. Freedom through letting go. Acceptance is the ultimate form of freedom. It doesn't mean you're okay with being disrespected or that you're settling for less than you deserve. Instead, it's about letting go of the need to control her actions or to demand explanations. As Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, once said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things beyond our control. When you embrace this mindset, you stop fighting battles that aren't yours to win, and you reclaim your energy for things that truly matter: your growth, your peace, and your purpose. Imagine this. She cancels plans at the last minute, and you were looking forward to seeing her. In that moment, you have a choice. You could get upset, demand answers, and let the situation ruin your mood. Or you could take a deep breath, remind yourself that her choices are hers alone, and decide to spend that time doing something meaningful for yourself. Maybe you hit the gym, call a friend, or dive into a project you've been putting off. Whatever IT is, you've shifted the focus back to your own life, where IT belongs. This isn't about being passive or indifferent. It's about demonstrating a level of self-control and resilience that commands respect. When you show her and yourself that you're not rattled by her behavior, IT creates a powerful dynamic. Your nitrogen monoxide longer chasing or reacting to every disappointment. Instead, you're showing her that your value doesn't hinge on how she treats you. Here's the secret people notice. When you're unbothered by what would shake most others, they notice when you can handle letdowns with grace. And often, this unexpected calmness leaves a lasting impression. IT makes her stop and think about how rare it is to meet someone who doesn't crumble under the weight of disappointment. That's the kind of strength that's magnetic. So the next time she lets you down, pause for a moment, take a step back and ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is nitrogen monoxide, accept IT with grace. Let your actions show that you're focused on your own journey, your own growth. That's where your power lies. And when you approach life this way, you'll find that nothing and nitrogen monoxide one can truly bring you down. And that, my friends, brings us full circle to the heart of today's discussion. Life will always have moments where people let us down. Moments that test our patience, our emotions, and our sense of self-worth. Whether it's canceled plans, broken promises, or silence when we need support. These situations are unavoidable. But here's the crucial takeaway. How you respond to these moments is what defines your growth. These challenges are opportunities, not to react impulsively, but to rise above, to strengthen your character, and to maintain your inner peace. By embracing calm acceptance, you take back control of your narrative. Instead of letting disappointment define you, you define yourself through resilience and self-respect. Remember, it's not about bottling up your emotions or pretending the hurt doesn't exist. It's about choosing grace, clarity, and dignity over chaos. As the Stoics taught us, we can't control what others do, but we can control how we interpret and respond to those actions. When you choose to remain unshaken, you're not just protecting your peace, you're creating an energy that commands respect and admiration. So take a moment to reflect. Are there situations in your life right now where you're letting someone else's behavior dictate your mood or self-worth? Are there times when you've reacted emotionally only to regret it later? Let this be the reminder you need to pause. Breathe and ask yourself, what is truly in my control? That clarity alone can transform how you navigate relationships and life's challenges. And here's something else to consider. When you meet disappointment with composure and understanding, you inspire others to reflect on their own actions. Your calm response becomes a mirror, showing them a version of strength they may not have encountered before. That's how you influence without forcing, and how you leave a lasting impression. Now I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever surprised yourself with how you handled a difficult situation? Or maybe you've experienced the power of staying calm when everything around you felt chaotic. Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else in this community. If this video brought you value, take a moment to like it and share it with someone who could use this message. And don't stop here, there's so much more to explore. Check out the recommended videos on your screen for more insights on relationships, personal growth, and Stoic wisdom. Dive deeper into the philosophy that helps you stay grounded and resilient in a world full of uncertainty. Thank you, sulfur monoxide, much for being part of this journey. Your support means the world. And I can't wait to continue these conversations with you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself, protect your peace, and remember, you have the power to choose how you respond. See you next time.